Iowa, after a heartbreaker in Kinnick, has to travel to LA to play USC. 6.5 point underdogs to the Trojans here. Definitely a dichotomy here when you're looking at play styles. Iowa going to be trying to run the football, playing good defense. USC, they play good defense sometimes, but they are one of the most effective passing offenses in the country for good reason because they got some real nice weapons. They got an offensive line that's blocking well, and Jade Mayava, who look, I have lifted up Jade Mayava so many times, and I still look at him as like a top 4, top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten. There have been some inconsistencies though, but that we've seen over the last couple weeks, and like when he's not on, like it becomes really tough for USC to win football games. Granted, some of the injuries at running back have also played a part in that as well. King Miller's done a really nice job in place of the other injured backs there. I mean, this is still, I think, a good USC football team, and a USC football team that is still fighting for a lot, for sure. This USC football team is, I think they still got a lot more wins left on their plate here, and it could start potentially this week. CD, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, they are alive and well in the college football playoff hunt. And I was given the same speech to Iowa that I probably I might have to give to USC just a week ago. Right. I thought they would really get it done in Oregon, and boy oh boy were we so close. Didn't realize Oregon was gonna have all those devastating injuries. Doesn't sound like they're necessarily season ending or concerned, but I don't necessarily know if they'll be back in time for next week at Oregon, right? So it could be or excuse me, at home against USC. So it's a huge spot, right? It's a huge spot for USC here. I don't know what Iowa has left in the tank after just a gutsy, like leave it all on the field, last ditch effort to go out there and beat Oregon, and you don't get it done. You get your hearts ripped out right in front of you there by Dante Moore, last second field goal. Like, what is left in Iowa's tank? I think if Iowa won that game, would this be a massive game in the Big Ten, in the Big Ten standings, but also with college football playoff implications. I'm hoping USC, it sounds like their running back room is still banged up, right? King Miller also got hurt last week. He should be healthy. You've got Brian Jackson still there, a couple freshmen, Riley Wormley, who they're easing back in from injury. First game back last week against Northwestern, Harry Dalton, who's still learning the position of former high school quarterback. So, like, with what Iowa does defensively to you, how good their secondary is. We saw them make a really elite quarterback in Dante Moore, a very good dynamic offense in Iowa, missing some weapons, no doubt. We saw them look pretty pedestrian for about 58 minutes last week, right? So that's kind of what Iowa does for you. Can USC run the football? That's what I want to see here. Not only is it going to keep you in this game or keep you ahead of the chains, put you in positions to not let Iowa up the game and put yourself in positions where Maeva has made terrible decision after terrible decision before, right? You do not put him in a position to even make that decision, right? Can USC's defense get some stops? I don't know.
Yeah. You talked about, like, can Iowa get off the mat? All right. Let me tell you this. They absolutely can get off the mat. It has been gut check season for Iowa all year long. All right. The Iowa State game, your heart ripped out. All right. Just ripped out. Look at the Indiana game.
Yeah.
Indiana scores a touchdown with a minute 30 left in the game. Oregon, last second field goal. It's just been gut check season for Iowa. I don't think that this is necessarily make or break. They got a leader at quarterback there. They got a coaching staff that's just been together for so long, and they know exactly how to handle situations like this. And they also know how to bring their mucky Iowa-ness on the road, too. They're no stranger to that. Granted, USC playing at home, I think, is a big deal. They've done a very nice job playing really good offensive football at home all year long. Most of Mayava's struggles have come on the road. So that's a big deal. Having to go to Kinnick, I would be all over Iowa in this spot. However, well, actually, I'll be on Iowa again, but I will just feel less good about it because they got to go on the road. I think they're going to try to run the football. Obviously, that's like the dumbest. That's the most obvious thing anyone's ever said. All right, Iowa's going to try to run the football against USC. I think that they will be more physical than them. Granted, USC's been a much more physical football team this year, and they've been able to get in some of those games that are less ideal, less flashy, less explosive, and come out victorious. Right? They've been able to do that at times. I just don't know that they're going to get it done this week. I think Gronowski is going to use his legs. I think he's going to be a problem for them. I think that this Iowa defense and Phil Parker, like if you get a little bit in Mayava's head and you win the turnover battle, which by all means is very likely, I think Iowa 1 plus 6.5. I'll be picking that. I also think Iowa will win straight up here. Getting off the mat last week, they get it done.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something, man? That's classic Iowa. Just to do that, to rip your hearts out. And they get to rip the hearts out of USC this time. Tempo, man. Who's going to be able to play theirs? You look at Oregon last week against this Iowa defense. They ran the ball. Now, you talked about it too last week, and you're like, this Oregon rushing attack is unbelievable, man. The way that they get it done against everybody. And they ran for 261
and it doesn't matter who's running
yards.
it either.
No, it's really nice. Will Stein, man. Will Stein. I got an Oregon friend, and he doesn't love Will Stein. And you know what? I think he's crazy. I think Will Stein's gonna be a damn good head football coach.
Absolutely spoiled.
Yeah. But Oregon only scored 18 points. Like, that is the fucking definition of what Iowa does to you, man. Like, you try, and up you look up and it's, God, we're in a dogfight. I feel like we're gashing them right now, and we're in a dogfight. Oh man, can USC get some separation, and can they play with the tempo that they want to play in? Listen, I have a hard time laying the 6.5 with USC. I've been the defender, I feel like, of USC all season long, man. I'm like, this is USC. They turned a corner. This is a good football team, and I still believe that. So I'm going to take them at home. And I know 6.5 in an Iowa football game is a lot different than a 6.5 in just about everywhere else in college football. So that feels like so much to overcome. But I like the Trojans here. Just a little history here. Iowa's last trip to the Coliseum to play USC was 1976. USC won 55-0 in that one. Iowa is 3-7 all time versus USC. And 2-6 in regular season matchups. Both of those regular season matchups and those wins came on the road in LA, right? 1950, 1961. So a little bit of history there. Iowa trying to overcome, fun dynamics here. It's the Big Ten West versus the West of the Big Ten. Looking to get it done here if you're Iowa, but boy, oh boy, do I like the Trojans here, putting themselves up for a massive game just a week later over in Eugene.